Welcome to the E-Show with Neil Ravin. With over 1,000 NCAA commitments, the EHL is the proven path to college. Turn it up and learn more about the college placement leader at the Division II and III levels.
Welcome to the E-Show, presented by the Penalty Box Foundation. The Foundation's mission centers around their daily motto, "We take care of our own," as they help out all of those within the hockey community who've experienced a catastrophic event. Learn more at penaltyboxfoundation.org. What's up? My name is Neil Ravin. This is episode number 62 of the E-Show, and let's jump right into it. This is the second round playoff preview that we're recording on Sunday night. And guys, we had to take a long time before we got this one started because, of course, the one game that we had left in the first round, of course, it went to overtime.
And of course, Wizards, Railers, that series was wild, Neil. Wild with a capital W, capital I, capital L, capital D. What an ending. And I'm like at a loss for words at watching the end of that series and how fast that game was.
And dude, that game was crazy. I was there. And I was like, yo, what's going on? It was back and forth. It was like one team scores, two, the team Worcester's up 2-0. That was like, nope, absolutely not. What did he say? And then it keeps going. Worcester eventually wins. It's like, all right, of course, Neil's the only person who thinks that they're gonna win. Like naturally.
Actually not. Kyle, do you remember picking the Railers to win the series also?
Oh, did you, Kyle?
I do, and quite frankly, I know we're here on a Sunday night, and I wouldn't have this any other way. Like, this is what we live for. This is what we do for work. This is what we wake up for. An overtime contest, fantastic finish. Whoever won, I would be happy for either. But I believe I was a believer in the Railers as I took Senator Ravin's advice.
And we're going to get...
Me and Brittany were wrong.
We'll kick rocks.
We will. All right, Brett, let's go kick some rocks together, kid.
And we're going to get into the brackets. Right? But before we do, let's make one point right now before we really get this thing started. When we picked the brackets offline, myself, Jeff, and Brittany, Kyle made his picks, and we made a few faces, right?
Is Kyle perfect right now?
No, he's not perfect, but who has the most bracket point? Who has the most bracket points so far?
Kyle.
Dude, who is it? Kyle?
It's Kyle.
Oh,
Kyle has 26
crazy,
points in this bracket. Jeff and I each have 19, and Brittany has.
I definitely have none.
You have 17. Mad none.
All right, word.
But with that,
well done, Kyle. Well done.
Let's start making our way around the E-Show and break down the first round and preview the second round.
It's time for this week's segment of Around the E-Show.
Around the E-Show is brought to you by the Junior Hockey Podcast, your home for junior hockey news, knowledge, and nonsense. Check them out at tjhpodcast.com.
And this is the first time that we've ever recorded a podcast where one of us is on their phone driving home from the game.
It's me. It's me on the phone, ladies and gentlemen.
Tell.
I'm on the way home from the WIC.
She's our ringside reporter. She had to be in person and experience this for all of us. So good job, Britt.
That game was actually crazy, dude.
Yes.
That game was crazy. And Worcester came out on top. Did I think they would? No. Did Mike Odessa Jr. chirp me? Hell yes, he did. And that's all right. It's fine. It's fine. It's
all good. It's all good publicity, as we've been saying.
What's so great about hockey is obviously the first round was mainly EHL, right? You could probably say that the first round was 98% EHL, and then the 1% was the one play-in game in the Central Division.
The fact that play-in game ended the way that it did.
That's where I'm going right now, because both of those games took place the past two nights. Saturday night was
okay.
The
wait,
game.
I was also wicked confused why it took place in Worcester, but Worcester didn't play
because of different state regulations and whatnot. And Worcester's a pretty nice rink.
And the WIC. Get up, WIC. I was just there for 2 hours. So.
Obviously,
I gotta say, I love it. I always get chirped, and I get it from my accent. But when I hear the word "wicked," like you just don't hear that here in the South,
Kyle,
New Jersey, and such. And I'm fine. Like, my sister married a Cape Cod guy. Like I'm half Mass. You see me with my Red Sox stuff on.
You are, but we're gonna get into your accent a little more later too. Because I
swear,
every time I said Walpole,
I get it. Exeter and
it was like I was saying every time I say their name now. Though I feel like I say it with like Paul, like Paul, like Walpole.
Dude, reverse psychology, buddy. Walpole. I'm telling you.
I was like in my head calling them those 2 games this week. All I had was this Kyle.
But for Worcester's rink, it's obviously in Massachusetts we can't use locker rooms right now. Yeah. But it's one of the most like spaced out rinks. It's just a lot of space, so you could actually, you know,
it looks beautiful.
When you sit in the corners or whatever, there's plenty of space for you to be, which is partially why the Chiefs picked that. But the point that I was getting at with the back-to-back nights in Worcester, so I don't know about Kyle and Jeff, but I'm sure I could speak for you guys. I'm jealous of Matt O'Brien. Because
he had a heck of a call too.
On Saturday night, he has the double overtime premier game that ended 2-1, and then because every hockey game is different, he has the next night, which didn't last at all, like that long at all, into overtime, and it's 7-6, and he gets both overtime games over the weekend. It's like, okay. Good
extra
for you.
Hockey for a play-by-play man. That's
like,
hard.
It's so lucky, right? It's so lucky of the draw. But hey, you know what? You got to be in the right place, right time, right? I know. Jim McCabe had an overtime winner. What was the line? Life is meaningless. Enjoy Arby's. Is that what he said?
I can proudly say I've never had Arby's, and I never will.
I don't think I ever will either.
All right, so their curly fries are legit. I used to like those as a little kid. Everything else, the roast beef sandwiches. I was a little kid.
Little horseradish action.
It's been years since I've had Arby's, but.
So let's start working our way down. Obviously, there was nothing that took place in the EHL North Division. Those teams are going to start playing this upcoming week. So I guess we're going to go. We'll start with that second round kind of preview there, because both series are very interesting, very compelling, and part of the reason why we're recording right now, because we're recording this Sunday night because the Wolves and Lumberjacks play tomorrow. They play Monday. They're the first game of the second round. And of course, we allowed that to happen because we give the specific dates for when each round should be taking place. So we said that the second round can start on Monday the 8th. But what makes it really interesting is when you compare it to the Avalanche Spartan schedule, the Lumberjacks are going and Wolves are going Monday, Tuesday, Friday, while the Avalanche and Spartans go Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. If you're the Lumberjacks and Wolves, you almost want the series to go 3 games, because if you don't and one team wins in 2, you're done before the other North Division series even starts on Wednesday.
Yeah, you get like a bye week almost after you play.
Which is like weird because you're not planning on that.
No, you're not planning on that. And they actually did ask each other what they were doing, but at the same time, you're also trying to balance the time before this, right? And they were all off this past week. So they're trying to make sure they space things out. If the Avalanche win the Spartans and the Spartan series with them, they control game 1. So if the Avalanche and Spartans go to game 3 on Saturday, while the Wolves and Lumberjacks only make it to game 2 Tuesday, when is game 1? Next Wednesday?
I was gonna say, so you guys have to meet about that? All the teams have to meet, and league officials and
the dates for the third round, which I should bring up while we're talking about this, because obviously the first round is over. The second round, we said, can start on March 8th, must be completed by March 13th. The third round can start on March 14th, so that's next Sunday, and must be completed by the 20th, right? So if the Avalanche play Saturday the 13th, they're not playing Sunday the 14th or Monday the 15th. No,
absolutely not.
or Tuesday the 16th probably. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you're finished by the 20th or 19th, because you have to then take a few days to get yourself, 1, ready for the Frozen Finals, and 2, down to the Frozen Finals.
So, right. You want to make sure you have at least enough time to not take the week off and then just go straight there. Like, you're going to want to mix in a practice, I'd like to think.
Yep. And my first prediction, and then we'll get to your predictions. My first prediction of the series in the North is that game that we talked about already, that 7-6 overtime game. That will be the Wolves Lumberjack series times 3.
Probably.
Yeah, that series is going to be unreal. That series is going to be sick. I mean, I personally picked the Wolves because Get Up Wolf Fight. I make their graphics like Get Up Trimble like Word, but I don't know. That's just a personal preference. It could go either way. Like it could go either way. Just like tonight. Tonight was unreal, dude. Like it was like the last game you called, Neil, at the edge. It was back and forth, back and forth. Yep. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? And then it's overtime. All of a sudden, 6-6. Worcester buries, and you're like, all right, Word, get up, Worcester. Like time to face BJR. Like buckle your seatbelts. Like I don't know.
And when the Wizards were up 6-4, I thought it was over. I was like, that's a far enough lead.
Like, that's what I'm saying. The game was crazy because Worcester took the lead, then the Wizards came back, and then it's just like, that's what I mean. Like, this league in this round is insane because you don't know what's going to happen, who's going to score. It's like, dude, you can put your best line forward. Like, look at Fusco was out for D for the Wizards. He didn't play last game. That doesn't mean just because you have a D1 commit, you're going to win game 3. Like, no offense. And they didn't. And it's like you have no idea what's going to happen on any given day despite who's in the lineup.
It's March Madness, baby.
Right. And to that point from Brittany, it wasn't the case in game 1, but the team that was the team that was leading that Wizards and Railers series in game 2 and 3 heading into the third period in each game lost the game.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
No, game 2 and 3 were exactly alike. Like maniacal.
But what makes it great is between the 4 of us, we were split 2-2. It was Kyle and I versus Jeff and Brittany between the Wizards and the Railers. When you go to the the Wolves and Lumberjacks, we're split again. Jeff and I.
Really?
It's Jeff and I this time that are pulling for the Lumberjacks.
All right, Kyle, let's go. Buckle up, boy.
Kyle and Brittany have the Wolves. I think
Jimmy and the Jags.
I think
that Jimmy and the Jags going down.
As a group, just like last week, we thought that the Wizards Railers series was going to be the best. I think that we all think that this one will be the best also. And while I mentioned this series could end in 2 days and it's over on Tuesday, I put it in almost permanent marker Friday night at 7:15. I would almost put it in permanent marker.
Wait, what game is this? I'm sorry.
That's game 3 of that series.
Does it?
What?
Do we?
Dude, like who knows? Just honestly, round 2, which I know is round 1 for some people, like you said, the North and the South. Like for Little Flyers, it's round 2, but technically it's round 1 for them. Like. It's weird. Like, it's weird because it's 2 for some, 1 for others. It's, like, kind of crazy. But round 2, a.k.a. 1 for some, is going to be wild.
Yeah, and the other series, we talked about that series on this podcast for a month, right? As the Avalanche kind of backpedaled their way into the postseason, we said it's actually helping them because they're going to face the Spartans, who they have the 7-1 record against. But as has been texted to Brittany and I numerous times this week by Brett Schreider, the Spartan, what is it?
Sparty party is not over.
Party. That's what he kept saying. Sparty party is not over. And hey, listen, we're gonna get to the South, right? We're going to get to the South. Playoffs, Kyle has used this terminology before. Playoffs are a different animal, right?
Yeah.
Playoffs are a different animal.
Yachts in the South is crazy. Like 7 starts this week, like get out 87. Like, let's go, boys.
So
Neil and Kyle, you both can contest to this. Have you noticed we've all done play-by-play for a playoff series? The speed.
All right, I'll kick rocks. It's fine. Like
no, Brittany, you noticed it. Well, no, I'm sorry, Brittany. Well, you were there tonight too. Like, look at the speed end to end. It's just. You can see every guy all of a sudden has like unlimited energy come playoff time.
Yeah, dude. Like Joey Lazat was buzzing, all caps. But Joey Lazat, I've never, and that kid's fast. I've seen him skate a bajillion 5 times. I've seen him play so many times. He was skating the fastest I've ever seen in my life tonight. Like that kid was buzzing. It was incredible.
Because they're all playing for their playoff lives. There's some of them, playing what could have been their last hockey games of their careers.
Right, and like I feel so bad. Like you look at the Wizards kid, like Jack Johansson, they had the best conversation with his parents tonight. Like, his parents are the best. Like I love his mom and his dad. Like they're both incredible people. And you look at them and you're like, shit. Like this year, like you don't know going into it. It could have been Joey Lazat's last game. It could be Jack Johansson's last game. You have no idea. And then it ends and you're like, damn. Like that sucks. Like their parents are incredible. And obviously he's an incredible kid. Like, he deserves a world. Like, I don't know. I cannot say enough good things about Jack Johansson. But you see the way that it ends and you're like, damn, that sucks. Like, I feel so bad for him right now. And, like, him, Papa, Steph, like, Davenport, like, it sucks.
Yeah.
It really
good
does.
guys.
And I feel so bad for them because they work their tails off all year. Like, it happens to the best of the kids. Like, you see you see Austin Finch. Like, their season just got cut short, and you're like, damn, that sucks. And, like, the other team obviously deserves it. Like, it's not like, you know, they don't deserve what they earned. Obviously, they do. But it's just like you feel for the kids that it ended for. I don't know.
I think that transitions us into the Central because it's the greatest sudden death in any sport. Hockey sudden death is the greatest sudden death of all sports. You know, when you have overtime football, you have extra innings, baseball or basketball, you can see the clock, the play, there's a build up to it. Hockey ends like that.
Yeah.
And if you miss it, like you can't go back and watch it again, really. Like it's over just like that. And for that Wizards Railers series, before we move on to more with it, is like talk about a roller coaster of a week for the Wizards, right? They lose game 1, but then they find out that their forward Keith Davenport, who's been battling bone cancer all year, is now tumor free. So it's like, all right, we lost, but our teammate is now like he's beat cancer.
Yeah,
so like
it's an emotional
like
roller coaster for sure.
That's like
an emergency room. Ryan Chris was literally in the emergency room this week. Davenport gets cured and cancer free. Kirsch is in the emergency room with like a staph infection. Like, the Wizards have been all over the place this week. Like, it's actually insane.
Yeah, and then they fight back to win game 2, and then obviously the roller coaster that was game 3. And now if you're Worcester, as tough as this is,
buckle up, people. PJR is ready to go.
So we're recording this, 9:30 on a Sunday night, right? When you wake up tomorrow morning, obviously you have to move on, and then when you wake up Tuesday morning, game 1 against the Rangers.
That's
Have a day.
like rest up, go to bed, sleep. Everybody take your melatonin, go to bed. Good night. Like, good night.
So Neil, what is
sorry to interrupt you here, Jeff, but I know, Neil, I kind of brought this up with you last time for goaltending with the Railers. You know, I asked you start this guy in game 1. If you win, do you stick with him? They started the opposite guy who I thought they would.
Woods.
So do you ride Woods?
I think now you have to, right?
You have to.
Right.
I see. I don't know. This is why I'm going to stop here. You guys can all answer. See, I don't know because it was a 7-6 final.
You're a big Columbus. I know that.
So I'm going to go back. Like, while we're on this Railers topic, we're talking about the Railers now facing the Rangers, right?
Yeah, BJ.
And I'm gonna go back to the 2016-17 finals here for a second because it was Little Flyers.
16-17 was I there or no?
No, it was the year before you came on board. It was the Little Flyers versus Junior Flyers. The last year we ever did a 5-game series because it was the year before the first ever edition of the Frozen Finals. And that season, the Little Flyers it was one of the wagon teams. They won the regular season championship, and it was Sam Caney and Joe Giacobo. And they went every other game the entire year.
I know what you're talking about.
The entire year until they got to the playoffs, right? And at that time, we were still doing 8 teams in each conference is how we did it. So 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5, like the standard hockey breakdown. So they're the 1 seed. They face the 8 seed. And some goalie stands on his head. His name is Brock Thompson. Had like 65 saves. They lose game 1 with Sam Caney, the goalie of the year. So they go to Giacobo game 2. He wins game 2. They go back to Giacobo game 3. They win game 3. Move on. The next 2 rounds, they go back to the alternating back and forth. And it's like, all right, like what are you looking for at this point? Then they go to the finals. And they start the number 1, I guess you could say 1A versus 1, if you will. And Caney starts game 1, wins. Joe starts game 2, loses. Caney starts game 3, wins in a shutout. Caney starts game 4, loses in double overtime on the biggest freak goal ever. I know Alo's going to text me when he gets to this part of the episode because it was the biggest freak goal ever. But even I said to myself, he has to go back to Caney again in game 5. He has to go back to him. but he goes to Joe Giacomo instead, and they end up losing in overtime. But I bring that up because at Kyle's point, when you go back to the Railers versus Wizards, you win game 1 with Woods, you lose game 2 with Kulhanik, you win game 3 in a thriller in overtime with Woods. You have to go back to Woods on Tuesday.
And I bring this up because it's a matchup thing. Like, Stefan might be better off against the Rangers than Woods. Hear me out for a second, right? Like, it's possible. It's almost like pitching in baseball. Like, do you want Jacob deGrom on the mound, or do you want your other like stud on the mound against the Red Sox in the World Series?
Wait, so Kyle, what do you see with Kulhanik that you like better than Woods?
I feel like he can get hot and at the right time, as Neil just mentioned before. Like, timing is everything, and I just feel like this kid Kulhanik just witnessed his team win in the first round. He wasn't the guy, but if you motivate him, I see something there, and I just have a gut feeling. Like I predicted today, it's in the group chat. Hey, expect an overtime matchup between the Wizards and the Railers.
Yep. You did say that.
He was the first to say that.
Better against top teams. There are kids who perform better against top teams than perform against the lower seed teams, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah. All right, interesting.
And you know, I brought up before the success that the Avalanche have had against the Spartans this season. The Rangers have had some pretty good success against the Railers this season.
Yeah, I think 5-1.
Right, but if you throw it all out the window by the time the playoffs come, throw it all out the window. Doesn't matter.
You can look at all these matchups.
These stars, like, who knows? Worcester heats up, Spartans heat up. Game over for the Avalanche. Game over for the BJR.
BJR. I can't believe you're saying that. I can't believe you're the one saying that.
Okay, I'm just being realistic, for Christ's sake, for once in my life, and being a realistic person.
But seven matchups in the regular season, 7 wins for the Rangers.
And that's the same thing with BJR. I mean, sorry, I didn't mean.
Which means
BJR.
that Worcester's due for a win.
Wait, I thought I thought Worcester had a win against the Rangers.
So to recap the scores, like, get ready for this, Kyle.
Yep.
8-1, 5-3, 5-0, 9-2, 4-2, 5-1, 3-1. So obviously,
all right, BJR pumps Worcester. Not gonna lie.
Okay, hold on. A few of those games are early on in the season when Worcester didn't have a few of the new guys that they brought in, like Bankoskis.
All right, but Worcester, BJR so pumps them. I've been at every BJR game at Worcester. Every one of them.
Okay,
and they just pump.
Okay, but the point being, like Jeff said, and like I was saying before, when the Nighthawks beat the Little Flyers in that first game of the series, these are 3-game series.
Yeah.
And
2006. I'm joking, but
they can turn on a dime. They can turn on an absolute dime, right? And
that's what I just said like 5 minutes ago. It doesn't matter, right? Like, everything's erased before this.
For those that are looking at my bracket and they see BJR in 3, yes, I did pick BJR to beat the Seahawks in 3. So now I'm
the Seahawks are gone, so it doesn't matter who they are.
But the point I'm getting at with the bracket is now I have to hope that BJR and the Railers go to 3. So Jeff, to your point, I am hoping that the Railers are due for 1, and maybe one win sparks a little fear.
Dude, they're not winning 1. Sorry. BJR sweeping in 2.
Oh, get ready for some more chirps from young Odessa there, Britt.
Dude, like the Worcester is already stripping me to shreds. The Worcester gets hate me right now. They're like, screw you, like, blah. Like, they're pissing me, and I'm like, all right, word, you beat the Wizards. Like, props to you, ladies and gents. But you're facing BJR round 2. Sorry, I'm loyal to BJR. Shocker. Oh my God, nobody.
We're all shocked. Thankfully, we're all sitting down, or else we'll all be falling over.
You're not winning a game against that team with Nathan Miller in net. Sorry,
we will see.
Sorry, whatever. Hate on me all you want.
Look at all these.
Look, I'm not doubting BJR and that they can't defeat Worcester, but again, it comes down to goaltending. Like, perhaps the goaltender on Worcester steals a game from them.
I just think that Miller has had more experience and has got more wins against more difficult teams than the goaltender on Worcester. And I don't mean to take away from the achievements of said whoever they play has had thus far, because obviously, like, you don't suck, like, not breaking news.
So you don't think Worcester can put up some goals on Miller, Britt? You get confidence Miller's going to keep the door closed, and
Right, and that kid's confident. I know for a fact that Nathan Miller is a confident human being. Like, you
As he
don't have
should
to
be.
ask me, I
Talented
will
kid.
tell you.
So we're split again. Kyle and I both have that series going 3 games. Jeff and Brittany both have that series going 2. The split continues to the other series in the
like you
Central.
said though, Neil, I had this against Seahawks.
Yes.
So
But the other series, it's
sucks.
the same exact thing, but flipped, because Kyle and I have Walpole winning in 2 games over the Chiefs, while you and Brittany each have Walpole winning in 3 games over the Chiefs. And
correct.
Yeah, but we didn't even think it was going to be the Chiefs. So
we didn't think it was going to be the Chiefs, but now it is. And if I could, I may want to change it to 3 games, because I think the Chiefs are a team that you can't sleep on. Now, I didn't see
the Chiefs are just whack as heck.
I mean, who are the Chiefs, right? Is that what we've been saying?
Who are the Chiefs? Dude, I hate
see
that
on Wednesday
stupid
at the Rod.
freaking meme. Dude, I hate that meme, Neil. You took my test.
Yes,
like, wow.
but I mean, we had talked last week about JP Mella going back to Trinity. Marshall McCallum said, "I'm still here, guys."
Dude, Marshall McCallum, where did he play last year, ladies and gentlemen? Freaking Worcester. Marshall McCallum was on Worcester last freaking year. Now look where he is. The Chiefs said, "Screw you, freaking Worcester."
We thought it was going to be Richards, so it was McCallum instead.
McCallum played well. I mean, even Peyton Duran for the Seahawks in that series, I know he gave up 5 goals in the series.
But like,
that
kid worked
90 saves, 90 saves in 2 games.
Was it 90? Because I was trying to get the
Duran.
Games.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like he played bad. Like, that kid worked his tail
everything
off,
he
and
could.
He did what he could for the team that was in front of him.
They just couldn't get any goals on McCallum.
Right, and you know what? That's not his fault. That's not his fault.
No, of course not. You can only stop the pucks that come your way. You can't go shoot pucks.
Right,
the other end.
You can't. Right. Freaking Peyton Duran's not scoring a freaking goal from his freaking crease, like, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, you're not shooting.
I mean, he was on my fantasy team, so I was definitely pulling for him. And
yeah, but like, you know what?
90 saves, heck of an effort.
He could play. The kid can't score from
the first time that the phone is starting to kick out a little bit. You had some great cell service going there for a second, Brittany.
What?
Your cell service went out for a second there, but to the point that she was trying to make is he did everything that he could in that series for the Seahawks. Yeah. He did everything he could.
Right, exactly. Peyton Graham, like, go off, you king. Like, get up. Like, you did a great job. I liked Bill. I liked Peyton Duran. Like, obviously, in case anybody does not know, I love the head coach at Tufts. Kids, the dude's an absolute beauty. I love Pat Norton. Like, hell yes. And he's going to play for Pat Norton. And I'm like, that's my dude. I love Norton, and I think he got a great player in Peyton Duran, personally.
Norty, he emailed me this past week, right? Because
did he? Dude, that dude's a beauty. I love him.
So the last time we were trying to have the banquet, he was supposed to be the guest speaker, and he had the speech all ready to go. And his email to me.
Mark, who was going to be the speaker? Dude, the banquet last year was a gong show.
Well, we didn't get to have it. That's why.
Yeah.
But,
it was a gong show, right?
But
it was a gong show, despite the fact that it was canceled. Still a gong show.
So Norty emails me and is like, my speech is still ready to go if you want it to be virtual right before the finals.
My God,
I was like, we could, and obviously him and I, of the 75 rounds I played of golf this past summer, he was involved in a few of them, which is fun. Always a good time. But those are the central matchups. So we covered the North, which is Lumberjacks versus Wolves, Avalanche versus Spartans, the Central, Rangers versus Railers, Chiefs versus Express. Now we get to the South, the division that had the most buys.
Miles rubbing his hands.
Right? And I have to say this. The best part about these brackets, guys, is like I actually like when people get mad about them and take shots on Twitter and take shots at me. Like, listen,
we have tough skin. Look,
I picked Maryland to lose because they had lost 6 straight going into the playoffs, and they had lost.
Meanwhile, Maryland goes and sweeps, and you're like,
hold on. Let me finish this. They had lost 6 straight going into the playoffs, and they had lost all 4 games they had in the regular season against the Rough Riders. So I felt pretty good. And all 3 of you had Maryland, so I said, you know what? We're going to go with the Rough Riders. And of all the first round series, I probably couldn't have been more wrong, and I apologize.
Hey, I always say this. This is why we put erasers on pencils, Neil.
Yeah.
Humans
Like,
make mistakes, It's
Oh,
not even you
like-
didn't make a mistake. You predicted. Hey, but I mean, look at that though. Like you just said, Maryland fluttered into the playoffs, right? They came in probably going in reverse, and then they come in and they look like they were knocked. They looked like they were going in at 75 miles an hour. They were playing unbelievable. So to that point, like we're saying with all these other predictions we made, doesn't matter that they won. That they lost all 4 games against the Hosses in the regular season. They come out and blew doors. So with all these other matchups, same thing could happen. Like playoffs are a different animal, as Kyle said.
I got to say, Anthony DiPaolo can back me up on this. The broadcaster for the 87s, it was early on. They hosted me at a game. It's the 87s against Team Maryland. And on the broadcast, it's on video. If you can still watch it on Hockey TV, I said Team Maryland is just like a playoff caliber team. They're big, they're physical, they're gritty, this, that, and the other thing. They might finish the season 500. It doesn't matter where they finish, but they're just like a playoff caliber team. And I said it on the broadcast. If there's one team the 87s don't want to play in round 1, and I know Brittany will probably agree with me, Team Maryland.
But
they're kind of like Fusco's Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights.
Correct.
Team,
Here we go.
Years ago.
And Adam.
I
Hooley,
would not want to play Maryland. Hell no.
But Adam
Not in
Hooley
round
said to
1.
me,
Yeah.
he said to me, if we're gonna go to the finals for the first time, we have to avenge what took place 2 years ago.
Well,
we have to get revenge for that.
I mean, look at what happened last time.
They didn't play a game last year. Is that what you're
Or did
referring
you say
to?
last time?
Oh, that's what. Yeah, the last time. Yes.
Last time.
That makes
yeah.
sense.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And
So
this team is built a lot like that Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights team.
Hey, maybe it was Fusco's plan all along to get to get the 87. But like, obviously I took heat from the owner of Team Maryland. The owner tweeted at me, right? Which is fine. I'm cool with this because
that was
a lot of chirping going on.
Murray
Murray
Gunty, that's who it is. Murray Gunty. Yep.
And you know what? The
that was a big paragraph he wrote.
Rough Riders score first in game 1, right? Then they get outscored 11-1 the rest of the game and the rest of the series.
Thanks for coming.
I'm sorry, I just didn't see it coming. So now Maryland moves on to face the 87s, who they did get a couple times in the regular season.
Only team that beat the 87s twice.
Never in regulation.
Shootout.
Never in regulation. There was one in shootout, one in overtime, but
that's all right.
That is like buckling. Here we go, and then we go over to the other series, and I don't condone players going at each other on Twitter, but like that back and forth between the Ducks and the Apple Core, and honestly, like, yes, I gave a huge congrats to Terry when he won the series, because in your first year you go win a playoff series. That's awesome. But they were 2 one-goal games. Like they that wasn't like a sweep. I hate the word sweep. Like right. It wasn't a sweep. Those were 2 one-goal games. That was a heck of a series.
Yeah, they grinded it out.
I gotta say, I talked to both teams. Obviously, I represent the league and I represent ProTech, but I touched base with Apple Core prior to the start of the series, and they were amped up beyond belief, guys. Yep. Like, I touched base with one of their players and like, hey, listen, Kyle, like, we had such a heck of a practice today. Like, we're all amped up, we're in the zone, and we really think we can do this. And that came from multiple guys in the Apple Core locker room. And when I called that game on Thursday, I'm losing track of the days, but game 1, it was like, wow, Apple Core came out on the road, no signs of bus legs, outplayed ProTech, in my opinion, in the first period. And Jackson Bernard stood on his head, did what he could. And it was just a matter of who was going to gain that puck luck, I want to say. And I mean, as I've said before, good.
Dude, how about Matt Sales too? Matt Sales coming over from the 87s.
Another story. Incredible.
He gave up 1 goal. What was it? 67 saves on 68 shots.
6-0-1 since joining ProTech.
Yeah, I was looking at that today, Kyle. Him and Patrick Marcinkevich are like tied for deadline acquisitions, I think. I mean, it's Marcinkevich had his 11 goals, 5 assists.
ProTech 8-game winning.
Stupid.
ProTech
Sales
8-game winning streak.
Yeah.
8-game winning streak,
which ties for the second best behind the 87s for the South. Say what you want. It's a fact. A goat is a goat, right?
At the right time of year.
Yes.
At the
A
right
goat
time
is a
of
goat.
year.
As a wise man once told me, when you write, a goat is a goat. A fact is a fact.
It's true.
8-game winning streak, second round, a battle between two teams. It was just a matter of, it was like a conference final series, honestly. It was a matter of who's going to score the OT winner and who's going to make less mistakes, I guess.
Wait, no, I know we already finished with the Central, but like just to keep on this winning streak conversation, do you guys remember when the Express were 0-5 to start this season? Because I was looking back at things when I was doing prep
Isn't
today.
that crazy how that was
oh my
once a
God.
thing? Like, it's actually
Walpole
kind
was
of insane.
0-5, and we were all like, don't worry about it. I think they're gonna figure things out. And oh boy, did they ever.
And now look where they've gone since figuring things out. It's like, well, all right, word.
It's yeah, and you know what? Like I mentioned earlier, I think Wolves Lumberjacks is the best series. What about Pro Tech Little Flyers?
That's gonna
it's gonna go 3.
That's gonna be.
It's gonna go 3. Yeah. Pro Tech won the last 2 games of the final of the regular season against the Little Flyers, but I'm thinking the Little Flyers come out strong. I don't know how about you guys feel.
You think the Little Flyers win?
No, I'm going with Pro Tech.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
I mean, Pro
Oh,
Tech.
so you think they come out
Pro
strong?
Tech, don't be silly.
Well,
Yeah.
his bracket,
I mean,
Jeff.
yeah, according to my bracket, I have Pro Tech winning. So
Okay, gotcha.
No, but that series is gonna be good. Like, I don't recall that I picked for how many games. Do I think LF is gonna win? Yes. Am I biased? Whatever. Like, I don't care. But like, I think it's still gonna be good. Like, Matt Sales has been huge for that team, like enormous. If they didn't have Matt Sales, I don't think they would have. I mean, if Oscar Sean is that bad to say, I don't know, maybe, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah,
I think he made a huge deal. He gave, I don't know, not anything against Fatadad and some of the other guys that they rolled out there this year, but yeah, I guess Sales just gave them some kind of extra.
It's a veteran presence, right? It's a 2,000 goal.
Right.
Look, Jeff,
coming from
exactly.
the
Like, it's not like the other goaltenders are,
young.
not carrying their weight or whatever it is.
Very
like,
young.
The Ducks got the opportunity to take Sales, and they did just that. And it obviously works out for them as it should.
So the beautiful thing about the EHL, and we can compare this to the NHL and the higher levels, and Jeff, we've talked about this before. Oh, we're not sure. Should we compare this to the NHL? But you can go from one team to another, have an opportunity, and just blossom. And it's just like, it's the right fit.
Yep.
And that it's like that in all aspects of life. Maybe it's at like the workplace, wherever it might be. Matt Sales comes over, whatever, it comes to Pro Tech. He was still a good goalie at New Jersey, but right now in Pro Tech, again, timing was everything.
Yep.
Right fit. He's motivated. You know where I'm going with this? Like,
for sure.
Marian Gabrick. Traded from
Jonathan Quick, right? Like, is Jonathan Quick really that good of a goalie? I don't know, maybe, but he's gotten really hot twice.
Right.
He's gotten really hot twice, enough to bring his team to a cup final and win.
People said that about Tim Thomas too, right?
I mean, when guys get traded, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, for sure. I think that Sales had something to prove. I think he was, rightfully there was a lot of guys between him and Kopak and with the 87s. Actually, who's O'Connor, right? Was it Connor?
Connor, right. Connor came up from the P team last year.
There was a lot of goaltenders there, and he was probably he's another Georgia goaltender like Mason Palmer. Those Milton, Georgia.
We have this
from Milton too, or
I thought he was a Michigan guy.
I think it's Cumming, Georgia.
Cumming, Georgia.
But
Georgia goalies.
You know who else is from there? Cal Mel, who's now on JV. Yes, get up, Cal Mel, let's go.
And CT Johnson on the Wizards from Georgia. We have an interesting little new Georgia pipeline.
From Georgia.
Yes.
What the heck?
An interesting Georgia pipeline that's kind of formed here. So
I think that's it, Kyle. Sales came over and he had something to prove, and he said, "Hey, let me be your man. Let me be the veteran. Let me help these inexperienced guys." And
I mean, it's a beautiful opportunity. Is a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
In the first round, we had 5 total series. Only one of them went to game 3.
Which is absolutely insane.
In the second round, we're gonna have 6 total series, and if we record this. Whenever we record the next preview, the third round preview, if you tell me that all 6 went to game 3, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
Right. I'd say, all right, word 6. Like, love that for you. Like, absolutely. I'm trying to think, like, I would vote now. Like, how many would go to 3? How many would you vote go to 3 out of?
At least
I've got one bold prediction. I'll let you guys go first.
You
go, Kyle.
You have to set the table
Wait,
with
can
the
you
bold
please
prediction.
repeat? Can you please repeat? I'm sorry. I was getting into my vehicle.
No, he's saying that he has one bold prediction, and he's got us all teed up, ready to go here.
Kyle.
So Wolves Lumberjacks
Yeah.
is either going to be technically on paper the longest or the shortest series in the second round.
Or the short.
But I Flyers will sweep Ducks, and that's the thesis.
Wait, so how can you play both sides of the field on that, though? It can be the longest.
So I'm thinking this is going to go 3 games plus overtime. We're going to see a lot of time.
Yeah, he's saying that the length of the games.
A goaltender steals the show and wins in 2.
I'm wicked confused.
No, he's talking about the overall length of the games.
Got it.
So he's saying that it could be a 2-game sweep with both games ending in 60 minutes, or 3 games and 1 game goes to double overtime. And
dude, who knows? That's what I'm saying. It's like it's round 2. Like literally, hell could freeze over, and you'd be like, okay. Love that.
Let's hope not for that. Right?
Yes, we don't need any.
We gotta make it to Aston, kid.
Seriously, though, that's what I'm saying. Like, who knows? Like, we have no idea. You trying to predict Worcester Wizards? Like, I thought it was gonna be Wizards. Sick, good for me. So did whoever, Kyle. I don't know who it was. I couldn't care less at this point because I lost. But like,
it was me. It was me, B Money. It was me, kid.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, screw us, Jeff. Like, word.
Yep,
like,
screw
you have
us.
no idea. You can't call these things. Like, we can go to finals
I'm just
doing round robin.
You're free to disagree with me, and that's okay.
So the EHLP series.
Yeah, moving on.
The EHLP series, just like at the EHL level, the Lumberjacks and Wolves are also facing off at the EHLP level. Winner gets the Avalanche in the North Division Finals. 1 team from that division will go on to the Frozen Finals. In the Central Division, it's Rangers versus Warriors. As we mentioned earlier, the Warriors beat the Chiefs in the longest game of the playoffs so far, Kyle. Ended with 5 minutes left to go.
Baby.
Ended with 5 minutes left to go in double OT. Brian Foster with the goal. And then Railers versus Express. So the winners of those 2 series face each other in the Central Division. 1 team goes to the Frozen Finals. And then down south, Little Flyers, and I have to say it, I said it in past stories. I kind of took subtle shots at them. Don't sleep on the Renegades. They've split their last 6 games with the Little Flyers, so I
think they won the last 2, right?
Get up, Cliff.
They won the last 2. They have a win over the 87s, and the winner of that Little Flyers Renegade series gets the 87s with the closest trip to the Frozen Finals out of the winner of that South Division Finals. So we're only through 1 round, and it's been exhilarating, right? Like the next 2 rounds are potentially even crazier, and with more teams obviously being involved.
We got a long ways to go. We got to complete that before talking about anything else. Like, it's kind of crazy how much is undecided and how much still needs to be done before the next podcast.
Yeah,
that BJR series for EHL, Neil, that starts Tuesday. What's their format? They're going Tuesday, Wednesday? Are they going
Tuesday? Either Wednesday or Thursday, and then Friday. Yet. Well, they haven't decided yet because the team that they're facing hosts that game, and they just found out about an hour ago.
Right, they were like, "Oh, we're moving on to the next
They actually
round.
just shot the puck in and realized we're going to the next round. So they still
no idea.
They still have to think about
Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Yeah, nobody knows, dude. Everyone just figured it out. Like, low key. Wait, so Worcester's playing BJR. I was gonna say I hope Worcester wins. I retract my statement. Sorry, is that allowed? You can crop that out if you need to.
You hope they win now?
No, I don't. No, I'm not.
I am not cropping that out.
Westchester, PA. I will be jumping off the roof of my apartment building.
Great.
All right.
Well, the three of us will be there. But with that, obviously, we've covered all the bracket, the latest updates from there. We got to now give you an update on the E-Crew Fantasy Challenge in our What to Watch For section.
Before we wrap things up, here's what to watch for this week in the E-Show.
It's time for the E-Crew Fantasy Challenge, brought to you by Bertucci's Brick Oven Pizza and Pasta. Your home for authentic Italian dishes, catering, and group dining. Check out their party pizzas and specials at Bertucci's.com.
Even when she only has one player playing, she's still in first place.
Dude, like, I'm sorry. I almost crashed my car as I'm doing an ad read. Like, word. I almost just literally crashed my car as I'm doing an ad read. Like, thank you to the Mercedes that almost T-boned me. Like,
that is devotion, Brittany. Well done.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm on the phone. I'm not even on my computer. Like, usually I'd be on my beanbag. I'm chilling. Hell no. I'm in my Chevy. I don't drive that anymore. I'm in my Toyota Corolla. Okay, I'm going to mute myself now. You guys can continue.
Jack Johansson was the only one that played for Brittany this past week, but still got her 10 fantasy points. But she also got 17 points from her bracket. So overall, her grand total right now is at 1,175.6. I am behind her.
Coming, though. Needle is coming.
I am behind her at 1,151.4.
Excuse me, can you please repeat what you just said? You're behind me?
Neil is 24 points behind.
Oh, 24
I didn't hear
points.
You're what?
Yes.
You're behind me? You're in front of me? You're what?
Yeah, so I had 3 guys play this past week, and Zach Simon, Rory Gresham, and Todd Philibert, 8, 6, and 5 points respectively. If I had picked Bryn Patricia over Zach Simon, I probably would have got myself more points, but
that's a personal problem.
It's a personal problem. Exactly.
Hey, Braden might have said hello, Neil, when I was in the hall the other day. But...
Dude, too late now. Who gives a Christ? It's too late now. We don't care.
It's all good fun. He said it very tongue in cheek. He said,
"Now,
tell Neil I said
we're gonna see this with Kyle's one as well. I got the same exact total for my fantasy points and my bracket points. I got 19 fantasy points and 19 bracket points.
Crazy.
So I am at 1,151.4. Obviously, for both Brittany and I so far, our goaltender has not played. Jeff's goaltender did play this past week. I think you did make the right decision. No, it was tough for you to go between McMichael and Palmer, but having Palmer play that potential extra series, I think, was the most important part. You also had 2 other Express players in Marceline and Terrain, got you a combined 9 points. And obviously Jeff's total numbers don't match up like I do. His fantasy point total was 22.2 from this past week. His bracket total also, like mine, was 19, for a grand total of 1,062.2 for Jeff. And then, as I mentioned earlier with Kyle, the bracket was the best of any bracket, right? And he got 26 fantasy points and 26 bracket points. But the 26 fantasy points were from 2 guys. They were from 2 guys.
That's insane.
Peyton Duran got him 13 points, and he didn't win a game.
He had 90 saves.
He had 90 saves, gave up the 5 goals. So obviously Kyle has lost his goalie, which we'll see how that impacts. I mean, Brittany lost one of her defensemen too in overtime, right? Could have flipped.
All right, chill out.
And then Dennis Arkapanko, who I think we've kind of slept on a little bit at times. Like,
yes.
But he also hasn't like lived up like a hill, and that's just my personal opinion.
Oh my God.
There's a fire there with Denise. I'm telling you right now, like a EHL veteran, like he wants it.
And speaking of that fire,
Jalen Kirkton fan compared to Dan Zuckerman fan.
So Josh Fusco, I talked to him after the tweet came out from Murray, the owner, obviously. And Josh isn't on Twitter, but everyone showed him. And I was like, well, I know that there was a couple subtle posts, but it didn't seem like any of your players were totally pissed about my picks. He goes, oh no. There was one guy that was pissed. And I was like, who?
Oh.
And he's like, Arkapanko. I go, I go, what? He goes, because he's been in the league so long and our history. He just said that Neil guy, and Fusco tried to do like his accent, right? Because he's not from here. Tried to do his accent. He's like,
the Neil guy.
That Neil guy, we're gonna show him. And
nice.
They did.
Get it, Dennis.
And
that's mad funny.
Denise.
And I didn't even notice this until at the end of every season, I have to go in and I have to update the EHL record books, right? Just to see what's changed and what hasn't. Quietly, he's now ranked 10th all time in league history for assists with 87. So keep an eye on him because he has a chance.
I would love to know who's ahead of him, but that's a lot of people.
I mean, there's 9 guys ahead of him.
I've been getting chirped all season, but push come to shove, I'm like that third line center that shows up in fantasy and just gets a hat trick when it matters most.
Oh, you're creeping up on 1,000 points, buddy.
Yep.
You're creeping up on 1,000 points. You're coming.
Keep it up, buddy.
Kyle's grand total is 988.8. Obviously, none of us will end up having a perfect bracket, so none of us will get that 50 bonus points or the 100 bonus points if you got every series winner correct and every length every series correct. I mean, I think just stepping back and looking at round 1, it's like having a perfect March Madness college basketball bracket. Like you're never gonna be perfect.
It's not happening.
Like you're never gonna be perfect. You cannot predict what's going to take place because every game's different. I think that's what makes this sport so great is every game truly is different. And while we can come on this podcast and we can say these are each of our picks for the second round, I'd venture to guess that not a single one of us is perfect in the second round. And we'll find out. We'll find out over the next set of days. And I don't know what day we're going to record next. It kind of has to play itself out just like this one did for us guys. And just like the end of the regular season did for us. Remember, we couldn't record when we wanted to because we had to wait and see on 2 final playoff seeds. We couldn't record the second round preview until the first round ended. And we're not going to record the third round preview until the second round ends. And it could be Friday, could be Saturday, could be Sunday. So there's obviously 2 series in each division in the EHL. Overall, we have another 4 series in the EHLP. And by this time, 5 or 6 days from now, it's the prediction, I guess you could say, there's going to be a lot of teams whose seasons have come to an end. So I hope that you all have the chance to get to some games this week. Brittany, I hope there are 1 or 2 weekend games for you. But for those that can, obviously we have every box score live at easternhockeyleague.org, and you can watch every game live at Hockey TV and enjoy the second round, guys.
Enjoy, people.
Enjoy, crew.
See you at the rink.
Thanks for listening to The E-Show. Learn more at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when next week's podcast is released.